So welcome everyone. My name is Callie Teagard and I am the Senior Field Advisor here at Promptings. I'm so excited that you are joining us tonight to learn more about Promptings. When we're done here, I'm going to send you back to the person that invited you onto this webinar. They can answer any questions you may have. I've got two really great guests for you to learn from tonight, plus our founder and chief visionary officer, Mr. Cody Bateman. I will tell you that I found this company several years ago. I was looking for an easy way to stay in touch with my clients, to be able to send birthday thank you and holiday cards. I knew the power of receiving something in the mail, though I was also really busy. And when I found Promptings and the Promptings mechanism, I knew it was the answer to my prayers. What I didn't realize at the time was how it was going to help me find the purpose in my life. I knew it was going to help me connect with people. I didn't realize it was also going to help me connect me with my purpose and put me on a pathway to prosperity. But before I get ahead of myself tonight, I want to bring on our founder and chief visionary officer, Mr. Cody Bateman, so he can share with you why he started Promptings and the best way to act on your promptings. So Cody, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cody Bateman. I'm the founder of the Promptings movement. Appreciate you being with us tonight. I want to share with you a couple of stories. One is how this whole thing started in the first place and what our mission is and what we plan to do to change this world of ours by helping millions of people act on their promptings. We hope that you're one of them. So it all started back in 1989. I accepted a job offer. I just graduated from college and accepted a job offer to work for an ad agency in New York City. So when we accepted that job, we packed up all of our belongings. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl. We packed up all of our belongings, put it in a U-Haul truck. We were driving this little car of ours in front of the U-Haul truck. And we went over to my mom and dad's house to say bye to the family. So we said our goodbyes. And I remember coming out in the front of my parents' home, and we got into the car and we put little baby Whitney in her car seat, and Jody got into the passenger side, and I went to get into the car. And as I went to get in, I looked over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was moving some vehicles around in this lot. And at that moment, I had what I call a prompting, an intuitive thought that I needed to stop what I was doing, go over to my brother, give him a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. And we were in a hurry. There were people waiting for us. There was another couple that was moving with us that was driving the U-Haul truck. And we all needed to leave. And so what do you think happened? I ignored the prompting. I remember getting in the car and driving away, and I honked and waved at my brother as we drove off, and he waved back at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. And we drove away, and we drove all the way across the country, moved into our new home in New York City area. And a couple of months went by and everything was going well until one night I got a phone call about 2:00 in the morning. And my mother was on the other end of that line, and she tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. Now, that was devastating news. In fact, I remember when I got that news, the first thing I thought of is that I had this prompting that I needed to say bye to him, and I ignored it. So at that very moment, I made a promise to my brother Chris, to myself and to my brother Chris. I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, brother, that I ignored that prompting. And I promise you that when I have promptings to reach out in kindness to others, I will act. And I'll do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. That was in 1989. Excuse me. That's when this whole thing started. That was the dream that was put into my mind at that moment. And everything I did from that day forward was to figure out how to deliver the promise. I needed to act on my promptings. I needed to help other people act on their promptings. Now, keep in mind, this is a long time ago. This is in 1989. It was even pre-internet days. We didn't even have the internet back then. So the concept and idea that I had was I had to find a way to help people act on their promptings. And I knew that for myself, the way for me to express myself, my appreciation, my kindness to others, it was a lot easier for me to write those things. Like if I wrote somebody a message in a card, it was a lot easier for me to express myself in a card than it was verbally. So I figured early on that whatever I did, it was going to have something to do with greeting cards, because a greeting card was a simple way for me to act on a prompting. If I had a prompting to say thank you to somebody, I could quickly send them a card with the words of kindness in them. So I started doing all kinds of things pre-internet days to try to figure out how to do that. You can't even imagine the things that we tried to do, but this thing called the internet came along. And when the internet came along and I saw the possibilities of the internet, the light bulb went on that, man, if there was a way that you could send a real greeting card over the internet. So if I could call up the internet and pick a card and type in a message and click it, and somehow it went over the internet to a printer and the printer would print it and send it for me, man, that would be cool. So we went on a long journey to try to figure out how to do that. We actually pioneered the technology that calls for through the internet for variable print on demand on printers. Nobody had done that before us. And we did that back in 2001 to 2001 and 2. So we finally had created what I call a mechanism. We created a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. And what it was is the mechanism allowed me as a person to go onto the internet, onto the mechanism, and choose a greeting card and be able to type a message into the greeting card and then put in an address for that person and push the send button. And then over the internet, it would go to our printers. We would stuff it, stamp it, and mail it out for you. And we started doing this way back in 2002 was when we first started doing this over the internet. Nobody had done it before. So it was a powerful mechanism. In fact, once we had the mechanism to do this, I wanted to start changing my habits and other people's habits. The habit I wanted to create was I sent cards to people every single day. So one of the habits that I had was is that the first person I thought of, I would send a card to. And I'm going to share a story about this card right here. So I got up one morning and my habit was first person that comes to mind. Well, the first person that came to mind that day was a lady by the name of Pat Chase. She does the music at the church I went to. So I went to my mechanism that we had created. We had about, I don't know, maybe 100 saved greeting cards in there. And this was one of them. And it says beauty on the front. So I picked this card. It says beauty on the front. And the inside it said things are beautiful if you love them. So I want you to watch the words that I wrote in this card to Pat Chase, who does the music at the church. So right from my computer over the internet, I typed these words. I said, Pat, just a quick note to let you know, I appreciate what you do for us at the church. You make music beautiful, and I'm a better person for it. Your friend, Cody. That's simple. And I clicked the send button and sent it off to her. Now I want to explain to you what happened when she received the card. A couple of weeks went by and I show up at church and she comes up to me and says, Cody, first of all, I want to thank you for this card you sent me. And I want to tell you what happened the day I received it. She says, I got up in the morning and I went into the front room of my house. I was going to pick up the receiver of the telephone, my intent was to call the leader of the church to let him know that I was no longer going to do the music at the church. She said, I don't remember a time when somebody thanked me for the service I provided. The only thing I got were complaints as to why I didn't play this music or that music. She says, and I was really frustrated. And so I was about to quit. She said, but something told me to go get the mail first. Now we know that that's called a prompting. She was prompted to go get the mail first. So she did. She hung up the receiver of the phone, did not make the phone call. She went out to her mailbox. The only piece of mail on a Thursday morning was this card. She opened up the envelope from her mailbox, read this card that you're looking at. She says, Cody, I want you to know that I was at my mailbox and I openly wept, she said. And I want you to know that when I went back in the house, I did not place the phone call. And I'm not going to place the phone call. I will keep doing the music of the church. And I will never, ever, ever forget you for how you made me feel with that card. Thank you very much. That's the power of acting on promptings. Now, we've come a long ways since then. Our job now is to help millions of people act on their promptings every single day. A big thing that we tell people is to send heartfelt messages of kindness, just like the story I just shared with you. We have thousands of people all over the world that are doing this. They're sending heartfelt messages of kindness to people. Now, you don't think that can change the world? It's changing the world. Millions of promptings have been acted upon, and we're just barely getting started. But here's the beauty of it. When you send these messages of kindness, there's amazing positive energy that comes back to you, the sender. And when that energy comes back to you, the sender, it really taps into who you are and what you're meant to do as a person. It's an amazing feeling to have. All you got to do is send kindness to people every day. It creates appreciation energy, and you begin to appreciate who you are as a human being. So we ended up creating a mechanism that really connects you with two key things. And we call that the promptings process. And the promptings process allows you to connect with people on the right side of the screen and with purpose on the left side of the screen. And that's what this is. So when you send out kindness to others, you're connecting with people all the time. You know, we've become the best relationship marketing tool in the world today because of this. Because a lot of businesses use us to follow up with their clients or customers. But what we teach is to send heartfelt messages to them. There's system cards that will do it automatically too. But the best way to create genuine human connection is these heartfelt messages. So over the years, we became the best relationship marketing tool on the planet because we had a way for you to act on promptings and appreciate people that you did business with. So that's just one example of how this promptings process connects you with people. But guess what? It also connects you with purpose, because that energy is coming back to you as a person. It ignites your inner voice that tells you who you are as a person, that connects you with your purpose. Okay, it brings up that whole new energy of who you are as a person. And we have since created all kinds of tools and different things to help you to nourish that inner voice, to nourish those inner promptings. Some of the best personal development programs on the market today come from promptings, because we have ways to teach you to use this process, this mechanism, to initiate positive law of attraction principles in your life. It's an amazing thing. So if you utilize this, if you use the mechanism to reach out to others, you can use the same mechanism to reach to yourself. What it does is creates a pathway to prosperity for you. That's where we've come. We started it just to send cards to people, but it ended up being what you have on this screen today. Now, I'm going to turn the time back to our host. We have numerous people that are going to share their stories with you tonight of how the mechanism and how the process has transformed their life. Thank you for spending the time with me tonight, and you're in good hands with our host and with some amazing people that act on their promptings every day. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Cody. So glad you were on here and sharing with us tonight. Promptings, right? Acting on your promptings. He talked about the best way. I want to take you real quick to our promptings website. Again, the person who invited you on here, they can send you the link or take you to their website when we're done here. But just to recap, right? We are all about acting on your promptings, appreciating others, and attracting prosperity. And promptings are those intuitive thoughts that call on you to take positive action, and promptings will create genuine human connection and guide you to your personal genius. How do you act on your promptings? Well, we have found here at Promptings that heartfelt messages have always been the best way to act on your promptings. And our promptings mechanism, also known as send out cards, is a system designed specifically to help you act on those promptings. I have two guests on here tonight that are amazing at acting on their promptings, reaching out to kindness to others, both in their personal lives and professionally. So I want to bring on our first guest tonight, and you can hear her stories on how she's using the promptings mechanism and the send out card system. That's Cathie Peterson. She's on the screen now. Cathie, it is fantastic having you on here tonight. We saw each other just a couple weeks ago. I know you've got some great stories, and these aren't the only stories. You have a ton of amazing stories about how you act on your promptings and using the promptings mechanism. So I'm going to let you take it from here.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I am super excited to be here and share a little bit about my prompting story. So I started in promptings about 7 years ago, but the card I want to talk to you about is my first promptings card I ever sent to a stranger. So about 5 years ago, my mom was in the hospital. I was sad. And this company, Ken Goodrich is the CEO of Gettle Air Conditioning. They had these really fun, clever commercials. And one day I was sad. I got into my car, turned on my car, and his commercial came on the radio. And it just made me smile in the midst of, I was feeling sad, but his commercial brought a smile to my face. So I decided right then and there I was going to send him a thank you card. I didn't know anything about the company, but I went home and I just did a Google image search, found his logo. He always used his dog Sadie in his marketing. So I put her, of course, on the front. And just a quick little note of thanks to him. And I sent it with a 2-pack of brownies. And that I thought was it. I felt so good sending it. And then I kind of honestly forgot about it because, a lot was going on at the time. Well, that card and brownies did make its way to the CEO's desk. And in a few weeks later, I actually received a phone call from Ken Goodrich. And the cool thing about this whole thing was he told me that my card and the brownies did the same thing that his commercial did for me, because he was having kind of a bad week and it turned his week around getting this on his desk. So that was such a great moment. And he loved the whole idea so much that he became a customer about 4 years ago. And he sends a birthday card and brownies to all of his over 1,000 employees every single year. So he's a multi-millionaire businessman, wonderful marketing mind, and he sees the value of sending and appreciating his employees for retention and just celebrating them. So that's an awesome story of my first promptings to a stranger. So here is a card. I love the 3-panel cards. I use them a lot for memory cards or remembrance type of cards. This is a Facebook friend of mine who posted that her precious dog had passed away. And she posted all of these amazing photos, and the writing you see in the middle is actually what she wrote on Facebook about her dog. And I just grabbed all of those images and her own words and created this card for her. There's nothing about me on this card. It's all about her and her little pup. This is the email I received from her. You sent me the most beautiful card I've ever received after my sweet dog Abby passed away. When I opened the envelope, this beautiful card was in it, and I literally burst out in tears. But those tears made my heart happy. You took the time to design and send me this keepsake card that I will always treasure close to my heart. I have it standing where my sweet Abby's ashes are. I can't even explain what that makes me feel, and to know that I was able to do that for somebody. It's promptings really are amazing. And my third example, so this is was my most popular card of 2023 so far. At the beginning of the year for New Year's, I sent this card. It's actually a card from our catalog with the Let Your Dreams Take Flight. I loved the card. I just did a Google search for some fill in the blank kind of resolution. And we all do resolutions at the beginning of the year, but I loved having the bucket list of what we want to do and also the year in review. I thought this was a really cool card to send, and I ended up sending it to many people. So this was a system card, and I sent it to my BNI members. I sent it to my Promptings family. I sent it to family and friends, and across the board, everyone loved this card because they really loved the idea of being able to write down what they wanted, what they remembered from the last year, and also what they wanted to do this current year. I think I'm going to do it every single year. But it also reminded me of how much just recently we learned about sending cards to ourselves, which I had never really done before. And that is so powerful, to send those resolutions, those goals, those I am statements and affirmations to yourself as a way to keep you going and keep your energy up and all of that. It's just amazing.
I love that. And yeah, we were both there at our Promptings to Prosperity event, and I really didn't do it. And I have 4. I have one sitting right here. I was talking about my book earlier, pre-call, and sitting right on my desk. Yeah, it's amazing the energy that you send when you send to others, but also when you send to yourself. So Cathie, thank you so much. I received that card. As you can see, that was the copy of the one I had received. And absolutely amazing. Great ideas. And no matter what business you're in, right, this system about creating connection with people is an amazing way to do it. Awesome. Thanks for being on. Our second tonight, I actually just saw her as well when I saw Cathie, is Judy O'Higgins. I have known Judy for years now. She is just a force of energy, a force of nature. Judy, I know you've got some really special cards to share with us tonight, including one which was, I believe, one of the very first cards that you ever sent on this system.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for having me on, Kelly. It's really an honor to be here and to share these stories. This first card was one of the first cards I did send. And my background is a counselor. So at the time, I was still doing that. And I had a new client come into my office. He was a young man, and he looked very discouraged, depressed, and had obviously low self-esteem. And I found out during our session, it's because his father always told him he was worthless, no good, would never amount to anything. And just in case he didn't get the message, he beat him a few times, and so make sure he got the message. So this poor young man was really carrying up negative stories in his head. So I had just joined Send Out Cards. He told me during this session that one thing that made him feel better was eagles. He loved eagles, and when he saw them fly, he felt more free and more powerful. And I had a prompting because I remembered that we had a card in our catalog with the eagle on it. So I sent him this card. I created some affirmations for him. And I sent him the card with the affirmations, and I thought to myself, well, let's just see if this makes a difference. So it was the first time I tried any of this with a client. So you can see the affirmations there. I'm a valuable person. I matter. I count. My thoughts and feelings are important. My words and ideas are important. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to be me. So And then I said, I'm a child of God. I deserve love and respect. I love and respect myself. And I sent it off to him. And I gave him the advice to read it to himself every day in the mirror out loud. And then come back next time, tell me if it made a difference. So 3 weeks later, he comes back. He's like a different person. Instead of looking down at his feet, he made good eye contact. He was present with me. He had his head up. His voice was stronger, and you could tell he was transforming into a different person because those old stories were being replaced by new stories. So here's what he said that changed my life. He said, he pulled the card, he had it with him. He pulled it out of his jacket. He said to me, "Thank you so much for this card. It's made so much difference. I carry it with me every day while I'm at work. I read these to myself. When I go home at night, I bought a frame. I put the card in a frame so I can look at the eagle. And I only have one request. Could you please send me another copy, because the card's getting a little damaged and frayed from going in and out of the frame every day." Whew, I about fell over. I had no idea the power that a card could have. So he taught me about that. So his life was changed, and that was the beginning of him learning to love himself and become a whole different person. My life was changed because I learned the power that can be in a card. And I jumped into promptings with both feet, and I haven't looked back in 18 years. So that's the power of that card, that one card. This next card, this was about a year ago, to a woman that I personally didn't know that well. I kind of knew her, and then I moved away, and so I hadn't even seen or spoken to her in about 3 years. But she posted on Facebook that her son died unexpectedly and suddenly, and that she was distraught, and she just was beside herself. And I got another prompting. I said, I've got to do something. So I took this picture of the two of them off Facebook and made a card, and put some words about how I cope with losing my husband, and sent it off. And I had no idea, if it would make a difference or not. So about a week later, I get this message from her. "Thank you so much for this card. This is the best card I got. I carry it in my car when I'm traveling around doing my work, so that I can feel closer to my son. And I feel a lot of comfort from this card. Thank you so much." And with this card, the most important thing about it is the photo. That's the part that made her connect with her son and made her feel closer to him. So once again, the power of a card to affect a life. The third card, so this one is a fun card, and this is an example of a system card. And this is a card I send to my top 5 or 10 customers, top meaning they have really big accounts and they send a lot of cards consistently throughout the year. I send them this in July every year as a thank you. And for many of them, it's the first time they've received this. So it's unexpected. And that's kind of the power of this. Who thinks they're going to get a card with a gift out of the blue in July for Christmas? So it's a really fun way to thank your customers, and any business can do this. It's also a great way to make them feel special and appreciated. And we all know that when customers feel appreciated, they're going to stick with you and they're not going anywhere else. So those are some fun things I do, and it makes it so easy with the system cards that you can send them to 5, 10, 100 people in one click. So thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Judy. Both Judy and Cathie, amazing stories, right? About how to use this system, how to act on your promptings, that inner thought, right? That tells you to reach out to someone, no matter if it's a personal connection, a client, right? A social media connection, someone you knew from your past. Because when we connect with people, our lives become stronger, both personally and professionally. And when we give and give to others and follow those promptings, amazing things happen. And as you heard Judy and Cathie tonight, right, they've connected with people, but you can see they've also connected with their purpose. Now, there are several different ways you can get started here at Promptings. If you have never used our system, I am going to challenge you to join our Promptings Mechanism 10 card challenge. This is 10 cards for $20, stamps included, anywhere in the world over the next 20 days. So we want you to think about 10 people you know, family members, clients, right? High school friends, best friends, 10 people that need to hear from you. Reach out and tell them that you appreciate them. Literally, this will change 11 lives. Those 10 that you send it to and yours. And it's an amazing way to test drive our system. If you've already done that, we have other options for you to upgrade. You can subscribe and save or bundle and save. We have our Promptings Mechanism heartfelt prompting cards. We have a $37 a month subscription, gives you 20 cards with the stamps anywhere in the world. We also have our 97 unlimited heartfelt prompting cards. Those are those unique one card that you send to one person, like some of the cards that Judy and Cathie shared tonight. We also have our promptings process package and different packages. Our promptings process package is an amazing upgrade package, as it gives you our unlimited heartfelt prompting cards your first month. It gives you 100 system cards. That last card Cathie sent, that last card Judy sent. It gives you a virtual assistant to help you get everything set up. It gives you our upcoming prompting seminar. We've got one on August 19th, a ticket for yourself and 2 others. Great event to come to. The power of I ams, and really helping you to connect even more with people, but also your personal purpose. You also get a coach. That's a $497 one-time package with a $97 monthly to stay on those unlimited heartfelt prompting cards. We also have a system package. We have a little bit of everything for what your needs are. So when we're done here, get back with that person who invited you on. If you haven't ever sent a card, take our 10 card challenge. If you've already done that, let's find the best option for you. And I would be amiss if I didn't share, we also have an opportunity here at Promptings. Both myself, Judy, Cathie, we are affiliates with this company. We do get paid with others. If you love what you see and you know people who could use a system like this, again, ask that person who invited you onto this webinar. They can share more with you. So I'm so excited you were here tonight to learn more about promptings. Get back with that person who invited you. Get your questions answered, and let me be the very first person to welcome you to Promptings. Thanks, everyone. Good night.